broadcasting from under my blankets, so it's quiet enough to hear me. This is Reimagining Hustle, a podcast for entrepreneurial parents creating a life where business and parenthood live peacefully in the same space. I'm your host, Roxanne Merkett, a mom of two, microbusiness coach, and serial entrepreneur on a journey to prove that it really is possible to do what you love without sacrificing all of your precious time. Let's do this. Welcome back to Reimagining Hustle. I can't wait to chat with my guest today. I have Cara Martinez of Peach Sky Bookkeeping with me. Cara, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here, and I just can't wait to talk to you. I love your podcast. I love catching up on it the last few weeks.
You're so sweet to say so, and I'm thrilled to have you on. This is going to be really fun. So, Cara, I know that you're a bookkeeper, but I know that there is a lot more to you than just that title. So, will you tell us about you, the work that you do, and also your journey to get there?
Yeah. Where do I start? I am juggling all the things, just like all the mompreneurs out there, anyone who's running a business, working a 9 to 5, having kids. It's a what do they call it? It's a marathon, not a race. So that's kind of how my life feels all the time.
Yes.
So like you said, my name is Kara. I'm a mom of two. I have a 5.5-year-old daughter and a 2-year-old son. I have a wife to my super supportive husband, and I have probably never met a beach sunset that I didn't like, which is where I came up with my um, bookkeeping business name, which is Peach Sky Bookkeeping. And I've been a bookkeeper for about 8 years now. I actually have a 9 to 5 still as well, and I work at a CPA firm as a bookkeeper. So I'm building my business alongside working a 9 to 5, being a mom, and doing all the things. Before I talk about my business, a little bit background about me is I was a school counselor prior to becoming a bookkeeper. So completely different sides of the spectrum, but I got
Yeah.
a master's in counseling, and it's something I actually still really use, like, in my own business and my life. Um, so my business kind of came about when I decided I did not want to do school counseling. I went to work at the CPA firm, and it's been a good amount of time now. And, COVID hit, and like everyone, it kind of just rocked my world and like how I wanted to be spending my time, how I viewed things. I had my second child during COVID, August 2020. My daughter was, she turned 3 during COVID. So it was just a crazy time. And I really started to think, like, how do I want to spend my life? Like, do I want to spend my life chained to my desk all the time?
Mhm.
And do I want more flexibility? And my husband had really been pushing me, like, you should just start your own thing, you have the skills, like, you should just start your own thing. So I thought he was crazy. Like, I just said, you're crazy. That's way too risky. The risk adverse person in me was like, no, like, I don't know, I cannot do that. But as I
Yeah.
started to think about it more, I thought, I do have these skills and it's something I enjoy. Like, let me just try it out and see. So that was how Peach Sky Bookkeeping was born. I started it in 2022, and it's growing really fast right now, which is really, really exciting. And um, it's just really exciting, and I can't believe it's happening sometimes because you're kind of putting in all this work all the time, and then finally you start to see your fruits of your labor. Um, so a little bit more about my business is we provide bookkeeping, dumb-free bookkeeping for service providers. So it could be solopreneurs, and we provide these services virtually all over the US. So when clients first come to us, more times than not, they're feeling overwhelmed, they're feeling stressed, they're downright dreading bookkeeping. So much so that they've ignored it and they haven't done their books or they're behind in their taxes. And so this is where we come in and we get their books cleaned up. We get them having, clean and organized financials every month. And my goal with my clients is really for them to feel financially empowered and confident so that they can make those business decisions and that they can go into tax time being stress free. And, I know that bookkeeping is not everyone's zone of genius, but it is mine. And
Yeah.
so that's where I think, hiring a bookkeeper is super helpful because we can take that task off your plate and you don't have to worry about it, you know? Um, so yeah, that's a little bit about me. And I think something that sets me apart, from other bookkeepers is that because I have that counseling background, I really try to provide a safe space for my clients to discuss these things because, like we kind of mentioned and spoke about before the call, was that finances and money is such a sensitive topic. And a lot of the times when clients come to me and I'm looking at their numbers, it's never just about the numbers. It leads into conversations about other things. And so making sure that I assure my clients, like, hey, you aren't alone in these feelings. I just had a conversation 20 minutes ago where someone was saying the same thing. And just providing that space for them and kind of dealing with that money mindset as well is something that's like one of the first steps I do when I first start working with a client. So I think it's really important.
It's such an interesting juxtaposition, those worlds of coming from being a school counselor to now being a bookkeeper. I feel like I'm a little bit biased in this, but I genuinely feel like everybody that you work with in your business, I wish that they would have some sort of counseling, mental health, something background because it
Yeah.
changes everything. It really does. I mean, the like you talked about, the money mindset, we talk about, mindsets around your time. And we talk here on the podcast, we talk about it just around the hustle culture, right? I feel like there's such an important need to remember that your mental health is key, but also your mindset is key. And those two things we talk about separately so often. I love that you just brought those in together and said, hey, we're going to talk, you know, we're going to come from a counseling background. We're going to talk mindset. We're going to talk bookkeeping all at once. What a great gift you're providing to your clients. So, Cara, I want to know, I mean, you're doing a lot, you're doing so much. It just, the marathon, not a sprint idea, right? Like that is, I mean,
Yeah.
I laugh because I feel like eh, you are not alone in that, right? You are not alone in having so much that you're doing. It's amazing to me to be able to talk to so many women like you who are doing so much. So I'm curious for you personally, what does success look like? Because you've got, you're acting in your role as a human being, right? Just doing the things that you love. You've switched from counseling to bookkeeping. You're working jobs, you're building a business, you're a mom, you're a wife, you're a daughter, you're, trying to make time to go see these beautiful beach sunsets. What is success for you?
Yeah, yeah, it is a lot. Hearing you say it, I'm like, yeah. It's funny because, you get in the grind and you don't realize how much you're doing sometimes. And
Yeah.
sometimes I list it out. I'm like, okay, then do this, this. I'm like, wow, that's a lot, and it's overwhelming sometimes when you look at it. And yeah, and I also just want to normalize also building your while also working full time because I think that's also something that is not talked about a lot. I feel like a lot of times people, it just kind of seems like it on social media. You just get this business idea and then you quit and then everything is fine and you become very successful and like yes, I that's happening, it's going to happen, but there's a lot of things that go into that, and sometimes people don't have nor if they the means to just quit their job and, like, not have a 9 to 5 while they're building that, so it's important to me that people know, like, it's okay to still be in your 9 to 5 and build your business.
I feel like it's like that idea of there's a lot of years before that overnight success, right? Like
Exactly.
that's exactly it. So I love that you brought that up and I appreciate you saying so.
Yeah, and so I think that kind of goes into my view of success because I think it's constantly changing. Like, if you had asked me prior to having kids what my view of success was, I always thought, follow the right path, go to college, get married, have kids, get that high-paying job. But honestly, like, once I had all those things, I still didn't feel the 100% fulfillment that I thought I would. And, becoming a mother has definitely fulfilled me in ways that I didn't know I needed. Um, but becoming a mom also rocked my world. Like, it honestly turned my world upside down, especially with my
Yeah.
first, because I don't know if I was just naive and didn't realize what motherhood was going to be like or what, but it really just taught me like how strong I really am and how capable I am. It also
Yeah.
showed me that I really needed to learn more about myself. And so it kind of set me on this path self-acceptance and self-growth, not only to be like a better mother, but to be a better person. And so that was kind of a long-winded answer to get to my definition of success, but ultimately, I think my success is finally accepting myself for who I truly am and that I am capable of doing things that I put my mind to. And I think in business ownership and the journey, you have to hold tight onto that belief because sometimes there's going to be ups and downs. It's not going to go exactly how you want it. And sometimes starting something new is scary, so I think holding on to that belief is really important and how you see yourself. It all has to do with, you know, the way you present yourself in your business. So I think that looks different for everyone, and that's just kind of my vision of success. And I'm constantly working toward it, and I know it's going to continue to change throughout my whole life, probably.
Yeah, what a great approach to success, though. I love that definition, and it's funny you mentioned being kind of naive going into motherhood. I have said for years that even if somebody had found the words to tell me what it was like to be a mother, I would not have believed them
Yeah,
because it's one of those things
exactly.
you kind of dive into it. So how has being a mother while also starting this business, and I mean in the middle of a global pandemic too, because why not? How has that changed you
Yeah.
as a person? I mean, you kind of alluded to it a minute ago, but will you tell us a little bit more how it's changed you as a person?
Yeah, like I said, I don't think if I had become a mother that I would even have ever been becoming an entrepreneur. Like I said, I grew up very as a person who was very risk adverse. Like anything that made me slightly uncomfortable, I shied away from. And so becoming a mother, I think just really made me think I need to be doing things that align more with what I want, what I need, what my family needs, and putting that first, not caring so much like, oh, well, my employer is gonna be upset if I, take off for my kid's doctor's appointment. Now it's like, no, I have to go to my kid's doctor's appointment. This is what I have to do. So I think it's gotten me good at like setting good boundaries. And I don't know, I just think I wouldn't be where I am right now if I didn't have kids, so it's changed me completely. I'm a completely different person
That
than I
and
was probably 5.5 years
oh,
ago.
yeah, it makes so much sense. Do you ever experience guilt around living all of these worlds at the same time?
When do I not when do I not experience guilt?
I have
I'm
to tell you because
I
this is an audio podcast, right? And so I have the pleasure of seeing your face. But for those who did not get to just experience that, for those listening, the almost eye roll that just happened of like
of course.
of course. So tell us, tell
Yes,
us.
I experience guilt all the time. I wish I could sit here and say I have it all figured out, and I've figured out how to not experience guilt. But no, I'm real and I'm not gonna sit here and say that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's many times, especially while working the 9 to 5 and doing the business where I my time is so scarce and I'm constantly having to choose, okay, what do I need to do first? Do I need to take care of my business stuff? Do I need to be doing my 9 to 5? Or do I need to be, hanging out with my kids? I haven't seen them all day. And yes, I would love to say that I 100% always prioritize my kids and like, give them that one-on-one attention, but sometimes other things need to get done, and I try my best. And it's just all about giving myself so much grace and knowing that I'm doing my best and that when I am with them, I'm present and I'm super supportive husband who kind of, especially over the last year, has kind of picking up where I used to fill in. He's doing more housework, he's doing more kid stuff, and kind of taking over that. He's probably gonna hate me for saying this, but the traditional role, of the mom. But in our house, even not having traditional roles, like my mom always worked, his mom always worked, and so it's not new to us, but I know from the outside sometimes it looks non-traditional, but I'm super lucky to have him because he helps me so much and he helps me know like, okay, yes, you're feeling guilty. I understand. But like we're gonna have the weekend. You're gonna spend time with them on the weekend. He helps me reframe things.
Mm,
He's a
mhm.
lot more less anxious and more grounded than me sometimes. So it's a good balance.
That's wonderful, and it's interesting. I feel like I mention this all the time, and I mean, I'm not a this is not an ad at this point. They should be paying me for as often as I mention this. But if you've not read the book Fair Play by E. Rodsky,
Mhm.
that's I feel like that's what you just described is this idea of shifting from these traditional roles that our culture has given us to making things work in an equal partnership. And that's totally what you just described. So this is again my shameless pitch. If you have not read the book Fair Play by Eve Rodsky, go buy it. She narrates the audiobook. It's fantastic.
I
It's
have
a
to
really
check that one out.
it's a really great
I haven't read
concept.
it.
You'll like it. You'll like that one. That's like I said, it's what you just described. I love it. Okay, so what do you wish that people knew about living in all of these worlds simultaneously? Being a parent, being an entrepreneur, having a 9 to 5. What do you wish people knew?
Um, so I had originally thought about this question, and I was just gonna say it's hard as F. I don't know if we
Yeah.
can curse on here. It's hard. Um, but as we were talking right now, it honestly makes me feel really empowered and really strong and just really amazing that I am able to juggle all these things and that I'm doing it. Because if you had asked me a year ago, like I would not have thought like any of this possible. So um I think that and also like I said before, just giving yourself grace and knowing that you're doing your best. And it's really, really important. I realize have a community around you, have your village around you, even if that's not family, like friends, other people in your industry. Like I am so lucky because I have a lot of great friends that I've made through the bookkeeping community. It's one of the most supportive communities I've ever been a part of. So I have that to lean on when it gets hard or when I just need to vent to somebody or feel like I'm not alone. I think that's really important in this journey in whatever industry you're in.
What a wonderful thing to have such a supportive community as well. I feel like as more and more women are coming into the entrepreneurship world, I feel like the entrepreneurship community is getting more and more supportive. That there's something about building that community that is wonderful. So I'm really glad to hear it. Kara, I want to
Yeah.
ask you a question about the name of this podcast. So
Yeah.
when I first started my business, I was not a parent. And I super bought into hustle culture. It felt so good to me. It was the hustle, 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 go, 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 work hard, play hard, but you never play because you're working all the time and no sleep was a badge of honor and all that nonsense. And then I had my first child and my whole world stopped. And I knew instantly that I had to change things because what I was doing was not sustainable. And so I've been on this quest to reimagine hustle since then. And for anybody who's listened to the podcast, you've heard me give this spiel before. That's the whole reason that I do this podcast. So, Kara, I would love to know, how do you reimagine the idea of hustle? Because I feel like you're hustling a lot. How do you reimagine the idea of hustle?
Yeah. Like I said before, I think hustle, similar to what you said, meant doing all the things, being busy 24/7, saying yes to everything, which is something I'm still working on. I'm trying really hard to set boundaries, but that's really changed because now I want to be less busy. I
Yeah.
want to be have more time to be present with my kids and be present in my life, do things that I enjoy doing. Like I've been wanting to pick up a book for months and I haven't been able to, but that's down the line for me. And I know once the building blocks of my business is done and that solid foundation is there, I will be able to get back to those things. And I think the hustle is the opposite of hustle. It's not working 24/7 and just being truly present in the world that you've created and the life you've created for yourself. I think that's to go back to your first question, is like the ultimate success is just to really be able to enjoy those moments and not feel guilty for taking time away to do those.
Mm. I've got goosebumps as you talk about just being present, right? For that's a reimagined idea of hustle.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. I appreciate that idea. Kara, this has been so much fun. Will you give us a pep talk for other parents on this entrepreneur journey? Just a short 30-second pep talk for those who are maybe feeling a little bit down and discouraged today?
Yeah. My first is always that you're not alone. We all have those days where we are feeling like, man, is this worth it? Like, I'm just tired. I have a never ending to do list. Um, but it is so worth it. I know it's going to be so worth it for myself. And I would just say hold on to your why, hold on to why you're doing this, have good systems in place, have good support. Don't be afraid to ask for help, even if that means hiring a bookkeeper for your business. Also, that's something I really love to help my clients with because I know it is a task people just don't want to do. So I think it's just always don't be afraid to ask for help and have that support in place and just hold on to hope that it's going to work out however it's supposed to work out.
Thank you for that. Okay, Cara, we need more of you. Please tell us where we can find you online. I know that you do done for you bookkeeping as well. You've mentioned that for a service entrepreneur. So please give us all the goods. Tell us everything we need to know. Where can we find you?
Yeah, so I'm really active on Instagram, so you can find me at Peach Sky Bookkeeping. And you can also go to my website, peachscribebookkeeping.com. So yeah, we provide them free services. I offer monthly and quarterly bookkeeping services. And I also offer 45-minute coffee chats with me. If you're wanting to DIY your books, you can ask me any questions to get some more clarity on your process. And then you'll also get a monthly bookkeeping checklist that you get to take with you. So definitely reach out to me on Instagram. I love connecting with other entrepreneurs, even if it's just like, hey, what's your business about? I just love connecting with people. And yeah, I can't wait to hopefully connect with you all.
Awesome. And we'll make sure that we include all of those links in the show notes. Cara, this has been for me, it's an early morning conversation, and this has been a wonderful way to start my day. So I appreciate the gift of your time, your wisdom, just your general demeanor. It's been a very validating conversation today. And I really appreciate the gift of your time.
Well, thank you so much. I enjoy talking with you too.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Reimagining Hustle with Roxanne Merkett. If you like the show and want more, check out reimagininghustle.com and please leave a review wherever you get your podcasts. We'll be back next week with another episode. See you soon.